Days of Our Lives 6, November 3rd to 7th brings major revelations, family drama, and shocking twists. Welcome back to the Days of Our Lives channel. The week of November 3rd to 7th is shaping up to be absolutely packed with groundbreaking revelations, emotional confrontations, and game-changing developments that will leave fans on the edge of their seats. Aaron's paternity test results spark family upheaval. One of the most anticipated moments heading into November 3rd to 7th centers on Aaron receiving the highly anticipated results of a paternity test that will determine whether the young Tesoro is biologically his child. This revelation carries enormous weight for multiple reasons and will inevitably reshape family dynamics throughout Salem. The question that has been consuming viewers' minds is whether Aaron is seeking custody of Tesoro or if he's contemplating adoption as a separate legal arrangement. Given Aaron's deep connection to Chanel and Johnny, and his awareness of their profound desire to expand their family and welcome a child into their loving home, his motivations become increasingly complex and emotionally fraught. The paternity test outcome holds the potential to redefine relationships and clarify everyone's roles in Tesoro's life going forward. If Aaron proves to be the biological father, it could trigger a cascade of decisions regarding parental responsibility, guardianship arrangements, and the child's future well-being. Conversely, if the test reveals someone else is the biological parent, it opens entirely new narrative pathways and could introduce previously unknown family connections into the equation. The emotional toll on Chanel and Johnny cannot be understated, as their hopes and dreams of parenthood hang in the balance during this pivotal week. Aaron's next steps, whether he chooses to assert parental rights, facilitate an adoption process, or step back from the situation, will have reverberating consequences for everyone involved and will undoubtedly become a central talking point throughout the week. Romantic complications. Ari Horton's love triangle intensifies. Ari Horton, portrayed by the talented Marissa Reyes, finds herself caught in an increasingly complicated romantic entanglement as the week progresses. After another meaningful encounter with Theo, the tension between them seems to be escalating, suggesting that their connection runs deeper than casual friendship or professional collaboration. However, romantic drama rarely stays simple in Salem, and complications arise as the alluring and dangerous bad boy Liam enters the picture, complicating Ari's emotional landscape considerably. The arrival of Liam presents Ari with a classic soap opera dilemma: the choice between a stable, potentially predictable relationship with Theo versus the thrilling yet unpredictable appeal of the rebellious Liam. Bad boys have always held a special fascination in daytime drama, offering excitement, danger, and an element of the unknown that can prove irresistibly attractive to characters seeking adventure or escape from their routine lives. Ari's growing attraction to Liam suggests she may be wrestling with feelings of restlessness or a desire for something more intense and passionate. This love triangle has all the ingredients for explosive confrontations, jealous outbursts, and the kind of emotional turbulence that keeps soap opera audiences thoroughly invested and constantly speculating about which romantic pairing fans will ultimately support. EJ's sinister laboratory plans escalate dangerously. As the Mike Horton Free Clinic dedication day approaches, EJ DiMera is making calculated moves to plan and execute the next phase of his secret laboratory experiment, a venture that grows increasingly ominous with each passing day. The implications of this hidden laboratory and EJ's intentions remain shrouded in mystery, but the timing suggests something significant is about to be unveiled during this anniversary week. The secrecy surrounding the project, combined with EJ's reputation for morally questionable schemes, creates an atmosphere of palpable tension and foreboding throughout Salem. The 60th anniversary episodes will officially commence airing on Monday, November 3rd, marking the beginning of an unprecedented celebratory period for the beloved daytime drama. While the official 60th anniversary date falls on November 8th, which would be a Saturday, the network wisely chose to concentrate the major anniversary programming during the prime weekday slot of November 3rd to 7th. This decision ensures maximum viewer engagement and allows for a full week of nostalgic flashbacks interwoven with current storylines, anniversary-themed episodes, and retrospective moments that honor the show's incredible six-decade legacy. Fans should prepare themselves for plenty of throwback scenes, cameo appearances from beloved former characters, and emotional callbacks to iconic moments from Days of Our Lives history. Leo's dangerous proximity to the secret lab. If Leo continues his reckless pattern of poking around and asking too many questions about EJ's hidden laboratory operations, he could very well become an unwilling participant in whatever sinister experiments are being conducted behind closed doors. Leo's meddling nature has consistently put him in precarious situations throughout his time in Salem, and his fascination with EJ's secrets could prove to be his most dangerous gambit yet. Should Leo stumble upon the true nature of EJ's laboratory work or discover incriminating evidence about the project's scope and intentions, he might inadvertently become EJ's first test subject, a prospect that chills the spine and suggests potential bodily harm or psychological manipulation. The stakes surrounding Leo's involvement with EJ's operation intensify dramatically when we consider the power imbalance between the two characters and EJ's demonstrated willingness to cross ethical and legal boundaries to achieve his goals. Leo's position as a potential laboratory subject elevates the danger level considerably and adds another layer of urgency to the unfolding narrative. Viewers watching Leo's increasingly bold investigations into EJ's affairs must grapple with the genuine concern that Leo might be walking directly into a carefully constructed trap from which escape could prove impossible. Theo and Liam's confrontation, revisiting old wounds. Theo and Liam's paths intersect during this pivotal week, setting the stage for a potential confrontation loaded with historical baggage and unresolved tension. The critical question hovering over this meeting is whether Liam was the high school bully who tormented Theo during their formative years, a relationship dynamic that would immediately inject genuine animosity and legitimate grievance into their adult encounter. If Liam indeed bullied Theo during high school, then their chance meeting could trigger an explosive confrontation as Theo finally has the opportunity to address the pain and humiliation he endured at Liam's hands years earlier. Such a confrontation would carry substantial emotional weight, as it would represent Theo finally standing up for his younger self and refusing to be diminished or dismissed by his former antagonist. The power dynamics have undoubtedly shifted since high school. Theo has grown into adulthood, potentially becoming more confident and assertive, which means this reunion could play out very differently than their original encounters. Whether Theo chooses to confront Liam about his past bullying behavior, let bygones be bygones and move forward, or attempt to prove something to his former tormentor remains to be seen. What's certain is that this interaction carries genuine dramatic potential and could significantly impact both characters' storylines moving forward, particularly if Liam harbors any romantic interest in Ari Horton, thereby further complicating the existing love triangle. Jeremy Horton's dating app debut, new romance incoming? In a modern twist that brings current technology into Salem's dating landscape, Jeremy Horton, portrayed by Michael Rourke, has apparently ventured into the world of digital dating by joining a popular dating application. This seemingly innocent decision could open the door to entirely new romantic possibilities and introduce unexpected characters into Jeremy's life. The burning question circulating among fans is whether Jeremy will match with a single Salem resident, potentially creating romantic pairings with established female characters like the unpredictable Gwen Rizek, portrayed by Emily O'Brien, or introducing entirely new romantic interests such as Kat or other previously unseen or underutilized female characters in Salem. Jeremy's presence on a dating app suggests he's actively seeking romantic connection and companionship, which raises intriguing possibilities for his character development and interpersonal relationships. If Jeremy connects with someone like Gwen, the pairing would introduce fascinating dynamics given Gwen's complex history and her tendency to find herself embroiled in dramatic situations. Conversely, if Jeremy meets someone like Kat through the dating application, it could introduce a fresh dynamic and new storyline that brings a different energy to Jeremy's characterization. The dating app angle also reflects how modern technology continues to influence storytelling even in the traditional soap opera format, blending timeless dramatic themes with contemporary dating culture. Andre DiMera's shocking return, has he taken over Tony's life? Days of Our Lives spoilers hint at a potentially shocking revelation that could shake the foundations of the entire DiMera family structure. According to murmurs within Salem's rumor mill, Andre DiMera, portrayed by Theo Penglis, may have somehow orchestrated a sinister switch with his brother Tony DiMera, also played by Theo Penglis, exploiting a mysterious disappearance to pull off an elaborate deception. If this theory proves accurate, it would mean that the person everyone has been interacting with believing them to be Tony is actually Andre in disguise, executing an elaborate long con that has fooled Salem's residents for an undetermined period of time. The implications of such a deceptive scheme are staggering and would fundamentally alter our understanding of recent Tony-related storylines and interactions. Andre's return from presumed death or extended absence would be significant enough on its own, but the addition of a body swap or identity theft angle elevates the drama to epic proportions. The mechanics of how such a switch could have been accomplished, whether through magical means, technological intervention, or simple disguise and misdirection, remain tantalizingly mysterious and add to the intrigue surrounding this potential revelation. The DiMera family's reckoning, when truth emerges. Should it become confirmed that Andre has indeed taken Tony's place, the discovery of this deception would trigger a cascading series of confrontations and emotional reckoning throughout the DiMera household and beyond. Anna DiMera, portrayed by the seasoned Leanne Hunley, would undoubtedly be devastated upon learning that the man she believed to be her husband has actually been his treacherous brother all along. Anna's relationship with Tony has been a cornerstone of Days of Our Lives history, and the violation of that trust and intimacy would represent a profound betrayal on multiple levels: emotional, physical, and psychological. Theo Carver, portrayed by Tyler Joseph Andrews, and other family members would similarly struggle to process the reality that they've been systematically deceived by Andre's elaborate impersonation. The emotional and psychological toll of discovering such duplicity within one's family cannot be overstated. How long would it actually take for Anna, Theo, and the other DiMera family members to realize that Tony isn't acting like himself? Initially, people tend to rationalize subtle behavioral changes or mood fluctuations by attributing them to stress, illness, or personal preoccupation. However, prolonged exposure to Andre's different personality quirks, speech patterns, and behavioral tendencies would eventually accumulate into evidence that something fundamental has changed about Tony's character and demeanor. The psychological detective work of piecing together these behavioral inconsistencies and arriving at the shocking conclusion that an imposter has been living among them would provide compelling dramatic material. Andre's potential resurrection, a chaotic force unleashed. Regardless of whether the current identity swap theory proves accurate, Days of Our Lives spoilers suggest that Andre DiMera has the potential to stage a genuine comeback from the grave and potentially involve himself directly in EJ's chaotic laboratory experiment. Andre's return would introduce a wild card element into Salem's already volatile situation, particularly if he becomes aware of or somehow becomes entangled in whatever project EJ has been conducting within his secret laboratory. Andre's ruthlessness, cunning, and complete disregard for conventional morality make him a perfect candidate for involvement in an ethically questionable scientific venture. If Andre does resurface in Salem, his arrival would immediately reshape power dynamics throughout the DiMera organization and create new tensions between family members. Andre's complicated history with EJ. Their competitive relationship, their divergent approaches to wielding DiMera power, and their fundamental differences in philosophy, would likely ensure that their potential collaboration or conflict becomes a central narrative thread. Whether Andre would view EJ's laboratory experiment as a threat to be eliminated or an opportunity to be exploited remains deliciously uncertain and provides ample material for dramatic storytelling. Anastasia Sand's identity revelation, secrets unraveling. The facade surrounding Anastasia Sands appears to be cracking as her true identity teeters on the verge of public revelation during this momentous anniversary week. Days of Our Lives spoilers strongly suggest that another disappearance could potentially occur in the immediate aftermath of Anastasia's real identity being exposed. The sequence of events, first the identity revelation, followed closely by a disappearance, suggests a causal connection between these two major plot points. Someone, presumably Anastasia or someone connected to her, may feel compelled to vanish in response to their true identity being uncovered, either to escape consequences or to flee from individuals seeking retribution for deceptions. The mystery surrounding Anastasia's actual identity and the reason her true nature has been concealed adds layers of intrigue to her character and raises numerous questions about her background, motivations, and relationships within Salem. What secrets has she been hiding? Why did she feel compelled to adopt a false identity? Who benefits from her deception, and who stands to suffer from the truth being revealed? These questions will undoubtedly be addressed as her storyline unfolds during the anniversary week. Stephanie's new book, Reality Imitating Fiction? Stephanie is actively promoting a compelling new novel she's recently completed, a mystery thriller centered on a novelist protagonist who inexplicably vanishes without a trace on Halloween night. The premise itself is intriguing, a meta-narrative about a writer who disappears, with all the attendant mystery and suspense that such a plot device entails. However, the real drama emerges when we consider the possibility that Stephanie's fictional narrative might mirror actual events unfolding in her real life. If the events depicted within the pages of Stephanie's novel begin to manifest in Salem's reality, the implications become profoundly unsettling. Could Stephanie herself disappear during the week of November 3rd to 7th, mirroring the disappearance of her fictional protagonist? Such a development would transform her book promotion from a simple publicity exercise into a genuinely terrifying situation where fiction and reality converge in alarming ways. The psychological horror of watching one's fictional creation come to life in real form would be devastating, particularly for Stephanie and her loved ones who care deeply about her well-being and safety. The search for Stephanie, Salem's frantic week. Should Stephanie indeed vanish during this anniversary week, it would trigger a massive search effort and send the entire Salem community into a state of frantic desperation. The disappearance of a prominent, well-liked character would mobilize resources, activate search parties, and refocus everyone's attention on locating Stephanie and determining her whereabouts and condition. The emotional investment that viewers and characters alike have in Stephanie's welfare would make her disappearance feel genuinely urgent and consequential, rather than a simple plot device quickly resolved. The question of culpability becomes particularly significant in this scenario. Will the other Salem residents, particularly those close to Stephanie, focus their investigative efforts in productive directions, or will they waste valuable time pursuing false leads and incorrect theories about what transpired? Will crucial evidence be overlooked? Will the real perpetrator successfully misdirect attention away from themselves? These investigative elements provide rich dramatic possibilities and opportunities for tension-filled scenes where characters clash over theories, suspect one another, and struggle to piece together Stephanie's fate. Alex's suspicions. Could Jeremy be involved? Given the complex web of relationships, alliances, and rivalries that define Salem's social structure, the question naturally arises, will Alex blame Jeremy Horton if Stephanie disappears? Alex's suspicion regarding Jeremy's involvement could stem from various sources: recent conflicts between the two men, romantic complications, business disputes, or simply circumstantial evidence that points suspicion in Jeremy's direction. The dynamic between Alex and Jeremy, whatever its current state, could become a flashpoint during the search for Stephanie as blame, accusation, and defensiveness roil beneath the surface. Conversely, could Jeremy potentially redeem himself in the eyes of the community, and especially in Stephanie's eyes, by being the hero who rescues her? Such a narrative turn would represent significant character development for Jeremy, transforming him from suspected wrongdoer into unlikely savior. If Jeremy manages to locate Stephanie somewhere, determine the actual circumstances of her disappearance, and orchestrate her safe return to Salem, he would simultaneously resolve the mystery and prove his innocence of any involvement in her abduction or vanishing. This redemptive arc would provide satisfying character development while simultaneously resolving a major plot thread.